Hi, I'm Lalit Singh. So now we have seen how we can design views, how we can put drag and drop our different UI designs also, and we can handle them by using event handling. We are going to see some more complex views like text views and putting those text views inside these scrolling views and how we can design beautiful forms. So in this particular session, we are going to cover text views and scroll view. Let's just talk about text views first. Again, text view is a class which is inheriting from a class view. View is a base class for all the views which you see. Whether it is text views, buttons, edit text, view is your base class. So a text view is used to show the data to the user whenever you want in your application. But if you want to get the data from the user, like if you want your user to enter the data, at that point of time you will be using edit text, which is actually a subclass of your text views. You can always use HTML tags inside your text views, but only bold and italics is going to work as HTML tag, but other HTML tags will be ignored. You can also use multiple line text views, or you can put your data inside the paragraph by using /n attribute. You can put in the paragraph also, or you can always use ASCII character by using the backslash. Now this is something we have been seeing a lot in our previous examples also. This is how we define any view. So as of right now, we have a text view representation in the XML part. So as you can see, the very first attribute is the ID, and ID is very important when you want to access the same view in your Java code. So it's a best practice to define ID for any views when you are defining them in XML. Width and height becomes the most crucial part when you are defining any view, whether it is button, whether it is a layout, whether it is a view group. It becomes very crucial to define width and height, because these width and height attribute tells your view how much area they're going to cover inside your device. Okay, just like any other views, we have attributes for your text view also. So you can put a text color, you can decide what exactly is the size you need to be you need for your text or font, and what is the style you want, whether you want normal, whether you want bold. So all the attributes are present, all the attributes you can customize in your text views, just like any other views. So when we talk about formatting of active web link, you must have seen, you must have came across many applications where you have seen a website link, maybe ABC, www.abc.com, www.xyz.com, and when you click to that link, it will transfer to you your web page, to whatever the web page you have there. So how exactly they do that? Well, it's just a normal text view, but how exactly they make that text active? So for that we have an attribute known as auto link, and you just have to put that web. So once you put that a text view, once you put a property auto link web, your text view become active. Now you can put your website links also inside it, and you will be transferred to that particular website link which you have provided. Just like your website link, you have just made your text view active for your website links. Similarly, you can make your text view more active for your phone numbers, maps, emails. You just have to put inside your auto link only for which particular scenario you want to active that particular text view. So this is how you define your text view in Java code. What we just saw up until now is how you define your text view in your XML code. But at any point of time, if you want to define your text view from your Java code, this is how we do. We need to create an object of text view, and then we will set the width and height of the text view, and we can define for how many lines we want our text view to contain. By default, your text view will contain only a single line, but if you want your text view to contain more than one line, you have to specifically specify set min lines or set max lines. Then you can set the text also which you want to show inside your text view. Again, it can be a hard-coded also, or it can be from resources also. So if you want to use a resource file in your Java class, that's how you do it. r.string.mystory. Now you must have noticed a change here, that while I was using the same resource file in my XML, I used @string / my story. But when I'm using this same resource in my Java, I'm using dot operator. So this is the difference you need. You have to learn that when you are using your resource inside your Java, you will be using dot operator. But when you are using your resource file inside your XML, you will be using @. And at the end, you can even append your text view by using append method. Next, ScrollView. We all know what exactly ScrollView is. It is used to scroll. It is used to scroll whatever the data you have inside that. Now, ScrollView has a very unique property. First of all, the ScrollView is categorized in a view group. We all know what is a view group. In a view group, you can put other views also. So in ScrollView also you can put other views, but it has a very unique property that in a ScrollView you can only put one view at a time. So you can say a ScrollView is extended from your frame layout also, because in your frame layout also you can put only one view at a time. So when we talk about ScrollView, either you will be using it to show a large text which is going beyond your screen also. You do what? You define a ScrollView, and inside that ScrollView you put only one text view. That would be completely fine because ScrollView can contain only one view. But you must be wondering then how exactly all those long forms have been designed in your fancy application, because a form doesn't just contain only one view. It contains it can contain 10 text views. It can contain it can contain 10 text views. It can contain 10 edit text. It can contain bunch of buttons. It can contain list views. So all those things grouped together, and still you can scroll your screen. How exactly that is happening then? So to get away with that, what we do is, at the root we define ScrollView, and inside that we define a layout. And inside layout, we all know we can put as many as views we want. But still, ScrollView sees that inside ScrollView there is only one view, that is linear layout. And that solves our problem, because ScrollView just need one view, and we are providing him only one view, that is linear layout. And inside layout, we can put as many as views we want. So like I was saying, ScrollView is a subclass of a frame layout, and it can only hold one view. And we do not want to nest in. We do not want to do the nesting inside your ScrollView because it has the property of showing only one view. And ScrollView can be shown in horizontal or vertical. You can scroll your items either horizontally or vertically. When we talk about then you must be wondering, then what about list? We have a list view also in your Android. Then how exactly a ScrollView comes inside your list view? Well, inside your list view, you don't have to define ScrollView. ScrollView comes by default inside your list view. But we will be using something more advanced than list view in our sessions, that is recycler view. So in coming chapters, we will see how exactly we define recycler views also for your list. So this is a code snippet of how exactly you are going to declare your ScrollView. Like I told you, there will be a ScrollView attribute. There will be a ScrollView at the top, and inside that you will be defining only one view. So just like any other view, you will be defining your ScrollView with width and height, and you will be adjusting wherever you want to put your ScrollView. And inside that you will be putting whatever the view you want. Like here we are putting TextView. So again, TextView will have width and height. So if you are designing it for a form, let's say you just don't want a text now. You want all other views also to be present in there, and it is exceeding your screen. So that's when you do what? Again, you will define ScrollView at the top as a root, but inside that, now you don't directly define button, text views. You don't directly define all those things inside your ScrollView because it doesn't have that property. So you will define a layout so that ScrollView still sees it as one view, and inside that layout, you will put other views, text views, buttons, and all. So again, you can see a component tree here that top ScrollView, linear layout, and inside that different other layouts. So whenever you are designing any form for your company, for any corporate application, this is how all those forms are being designed. To learn more about your text views, scroll views, horizontal text views, or horizontal scroll views, vertical scroll views, you can follow all these links. Next, we are going to see the practical how exactly we can put a long text inside my scroll view.